All right. So.
Are we here?
Yeah, we are.
We're here. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hog Rat. I want to welcome you, but I just can't be bothered. So, first and foremost, I want to talk about why it's been 2 weeks since we dropped an episode. We had one episode 2 weeks ago that we filmed like on location-ish, and it turned out to have some issues, so I had to fix it in post. And then the very next weekend, the wife and I went to Geneva on the lake, which we talked about on Facebook and on the podcast. And there's just no time because we came home Sunday and I had to go to work, and that week was very busy. A lot of stuff we didn't do on the weekend we had to do during the week. So very normal stuff, no big deal. Today we're going to film this one, obviously drop it tomorrow, and then we are going to continue working on the location one, which hopefully will drop tomorrow, but it all depends because it takes forever to upload these videos.
I don't know why it does that either. You have decent internet.
I know. It's just, I just blame the websites. I mean, YouTube is owned by Google. Google cannot get their shit together. So,
Well,
it was way better when Chad and Steve owned and operated YouTube.
Chad and Steve, he says, like they're next door neighbors.
Well, they were very talked about back in the day when they sold it to Google. Everyone knew their name. I can't remember them. I just know Chad and Steve.
Well, they used to be Chad and Steve. Now they're Cha-Cha and Cha-Ching.
Ah, yes. So.
And if you were in their position, you would have taken the money and ran too.
Oh, yeah, but I would have started another website. That's just how I roll. I would have started like a competition website and then just see what I make off that. Just because, why be bored?
If you got that kind of money, you're never bored. And if you are, you just don't have any hobbies.
That's true. Most of my hobbies take all my fucking money, though.
Well, and like I said, if you sold Google, you probably wouldn't do that. I mean, there's not a whole lot of $30 million motorcycles you can buy.
That's true. But I would have a warehouse full of motorcycles.
I probably would have a few myself. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. So
fun stuff here around town.
Yeah.
Well, I should say in the state. Who had cat for breakfast?
Who ate some dogs?
I don't hear about dogs, just cats, kitties. Meow.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about that. So, Springfield is kind of far away from us. It's just west of Columbus.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Excuse me.
So, I've been reading up on this, and of course, I don't trust the internet, so I'm trying to pick and choose websites that I think I would trust a little more. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that I am a trusted source, but merely just another opinion about it. Just simply because I don't know where to go to get accurate information.
Right. Well, everything that I've read that seems to be somewhat legitimate is talking about there was a mentally unstable woman in Canton who
Canton, yeah. Imagine that.
That actually ate their neighbor's cat.
Imagine that. It's Canton. Sorry, Canton, but you can't make this stuff up.
And apparently that video is what's got everybody in an uproar and people thinking that. And I don't know how Springfield got brought into it.
Well, because of the migrants. Springfield did receive 15,000 migrants.
Oh, did they? Okay, so
that is real.
So now somebody's just twisted this story into it was them.
Yeah. Yes.
Gotcha.
I mean, it was a black woman, so it must be a Haitian migrant.
Well, I seen the video, and the girl they were talking to didn't sound like she was from anywhere but here.
No, she was born and raised in Canton.
I mean, she didn't have an accent or anything in the video that I seen.
Right.
And that's the one. And if you watch the video close, when they like pan across, you can see a Canton emblem on the freaking cop car.
I know. It's so funny. It's just, why Canton? Why does Canton have to have the cat eating people? I already have issues with that town.
Well,
it's like, no, it's not Cleveland. No, it's not Cincinnati or Dayton or no, it's Canton. Canton has the cat eating people.
Little Detroit.
And where was it, dear? Where was it where that Chinese restaurant? Remember they had their 5-year-old daughter? That was
North Canton.
That was North Canton.
Yeah, okay. It was up by where Gander Mountain used to be. Yeah.
You gotta
turn that on there,
Oh,
Chica.
that's right. Yeah, right up on Jackson.
Yeah, so that's not Canton.
Yeah, Jackson. I think it was on Portage.
Yeah, it was, I think, wasn't it something happened and the kid died and they freaked out and didn't want anybody to know, so they put it in the freezer, or the dad did or something?
It was an accidental death on their part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they put her in their freezer in the store, the restaurant.
Because they were scared they were going to get deported.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Duh.
Sorry, but they have a legitimate fear. But yeah, you don't put your child in a freezer. She's not a loaf of bread. You own that shit. Okay, if a child dies,
go
you own
get Jess out of the freezer.
Jess is not in the freezer. It's not that cold in here.
I don't know. I heard somebody tapping on the freezer when I came in. I don't know.
That would be the guy who tried to kidnap my dogs.
Oh.
And he's alive because he deserves to die slowly if you mess with my dogs. So good luck, Canton. Sorry if you have cats disappearing. Now, here's one thing I do want to say is a lot of people in Springfield, there was a 911 call placed, which I heard. I don't know which website I saw that on. Sorry.
Okay.
I saw too many websites that night. But there was a legitimate 911 call. Some guy saying that he claimed Haitian immigrants, which I don't know if they were Haitian immigrants or just people.
He probably doesn't know either.
Let me rephrase that. Haitian immigrants are people. What I meant was whether they're Haitian immigrants or Americans.
Just
Sorry.
actual people.
Wasn't trying to say that Haitian people aren't people. I didn't mean to say that. But he did say that there was people taking geese. And they cut the heads off and then they took them and obviously they were going to eat them, or I don't know what you would do with a dead goose if you don't eat it.
I did see something on that.
Yes, but here's my question.
That's not a cat, though.
Right, exactly. Let's be honest. Do we really care if people who are starving start eating wild geese? I mean, what's the difference between a wild deer and a wild goose?
Well, they're hunting out of season, number one.
Okay.
Which I'm sure is not much of a fine. But, I mean, if you're starving, you're starving.
I mean, no, but let's take the pros and cons. So they're hunting out of season.
Yep.
All right, so that's something they're doing, quote unquote, wrong.
They're probably doing it within the city limits, which is probably another violation. And I don't think that's a violation because people care about the city limits. It's just because there's kids and stuff.
Now, are they
in the
shooting
city.
them or they're just catching them?
I think they were catching them and cutting their heads off from what I
Well, then
heard.
who cares if it's in the city because you're not risking anybody's life?
It's not about the life. It's about some little kid seeing some dude whack a bird's head off in the middle of the park.
Okay. So
yeah,
that's
but people that raise chickens, I used to
But that's
uncle
on private property. That's not public
I
property.
think
We're
what
gonna
he's saying
traumatize the
is that's-
children.
Yes.
What
I
he's
am
saying is
traumatized.
someone chose to buy the chickens, have the land, and raise their children in that
And
environment.
then somebody that's snatching up a goose out of the pond in,
Right.
downtown.
Yeah.
Well, everybody complains about the geese anyway.
Exactly.
Oh, they're terrible.
That's what I was saying. I said,
friggin'
wasn't it
terrible.
a few years ago that Massillon actually paid a company to round up geese and cook them properly and feed them to the homeless?
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know I've seen
That's
it
what I
twice
heard.
now in North Canton. It's the geese patrol because I thought it said cheese control, but it's a van that goes around. It's geese control. There's a real thing.
Yeah, well, in Florida, it's viewed in southern Florida, it's iguanas. They literally have thousands of people. That's all they do is go around to apartment buildings and places and shoot
'cause
iguanas.
people were going down there for work.
Yeah.
The iguanas and the pigs.
Well, the pigs is going to be Texas. I mean, there's probably some in
Okay.
there, but I guess the last time I was reading up on the pigs in Texas, it was like 2015 or something. But they said at that point, if they killed 98% of the population of pigs in Texas, it would only stabilize their hog overpopulation problem.
Well, people used to say that about deer in Ohio, but
Well, what happened there, though, is
Your
used to be-
microphone is way too far away from you.
okay.
And what happened there is they used to only allow people that were hunting to shoot bucks. Now you can shoot does, so that has really cut down on the population of deer. And that was like when I was a kid, you could only shoot a buck. You had to actually get a doe permit to shoot a doe. Now you can shoot as many does as you want. I think in Stark County, I think you can shoot three deer this year. Deer. They're not deers. But you're only allowed to take one buck, and then you can take up to 3 deer.
Okay, I'm not seeing anything about Massillon feeding geese to the homeless, so maybe I heard wrong. But I did hear that story. Someone told me that they're because of the geese were pooping all over the parks.
Yep.
So they rounded a bunch of them up and Massillon Ohio feeding. Okay. Yeah. So, but I mean, I'm not seeing anything. Let me.
I doubt if they would have fed them because it's probably, FDA and health requirements and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have.
Well, I do know that some homeless
probably
shelters and places will
relocated
take
that.
extra meat that people hunt that they don't eat.
Yeah, there was an article that I passed up that was talking about how much meat hunters have donated.
Oh yeah,
It's
they
a
do
lot.
that because I watch whenever I'm in the hospital or have somewhere with a TV. We watch Louisiana wildlife stuff, and the wildlife rangers go out there and they police people to see, do you have the proper license,
Right.
and blah blah blah. And if they don't, they confiscate whatever they've caught, whether it's deer or fish or whatever.
Yeah, and they give it to
It showed it. It gave it to some, I don't want to say poor, however you say poor family, and
poverty stricken.
There's
yes, and gave them the whole deer. The ranger cut it up and everything for them.
So yeah, there's a couple guys on YouTube that live in Atlanta area, and they do what they call urban hunting. So like if you have like a neighborhood with a big clump of wood like back here, in the city nobody really hunts there, so their deer are extremely overpopulated.
Yeah,
and that's what they do. They go and they'll shoot, they'll get permission from whoever lives around there and who owns the property, and they'll go in and they'll shoot 4 or 5 does, and that's what they do. They take them to different places around Atlanta and drop them off. But they also shoot big gigantic bucks in town too. It's insane. What are you reading? The Columbus Dispatch?
There's an article that says, amid amplified rumors of people killing waterfowl, what are Ohio's rules for hunting geese? But the article is just going on about Trump and what he said and the rumors, and I'm just trying to filter it to get to what the actual law says.
Well, this is what you do. You go like this. What's this? You go to
someone hunts it. But anyways, I was thinking, is that such a bad thing? I mean, with the exception of out of hunting season, and obviously, are Canadian geese protected?
No. I don't believe so.
I don't think so either, because there's a million of them.
Oh, yeah. I know.
All right.
People hit them with their cars.
Yeah. Yes, I can attest to that. Not that I've hit one, but I've seen a lot of dead geese where I work. ODNR.
Yep, they go to there and then just look up or you can just do Ohio goose hunting.
So ODNR, which I'm not 100% what that means.
Ohio Department of Natural Resources.
Thank you. Allows hunting of Canadian geese September 7th through the 15th this year in Ohio with daily limit of 5 a day. So there you go.
Well, that's a lot of geese. But a week.
Yeah.
A week is like nothing.
Yeah.
So that's 25 geese in a week.
I mean, I drove down the road home the other day, and in somebody's front yard, there had to be about 50 of them.
Yeah.
Just right there.
Yeah.
Well, when you hunt them, they're a little different because you got to be in certain. I guess you can't shoot them in town.
Right. You don't want to use a shotgun when you're in downtown Canton next to a.
And the geese that you see in the park are pretty tame compared to the ones you see flying around out in. Yeah.
Instead of the dog grabbing the waterfowl, he's just grabbing pieces and bringing them to you. It's an annual hunting and trapping regulations were published September 1st and use a federal framework. Okay, that's stupid. I don't know why I read that. What do you need to hunt geese in Ohio? This is a small paragraph. Those interested in hunting Canada geese must have a valid Ohio driver's license and a Harvest Information Program certificate on their license. So you have to take a class. They will also need an Ohio Wetlands Habitat Stamp endorsement if older than 18 and assigned federal... Oh, there's a word I don't know.
Where's that?
Migratory
bird permit.
Thank you.
My gosh,
that's
a lot.
Yes, it is for a goose. Bird hunt, and I'll tell you this right now: if I'm starving to death, fuck all the certificates. Going out to a goddamn pond, I'm going to catch one, and I'm eating dinner.
But that might explain why there's so many geese. Nobody wants to go through all that shit to get one.
Yeah, you got a point.
It really isn't that big of a deal to get it. You have to have and I don't even know if you have to actually have the driver's license. You have to have a hunting license. Then you buy a wetland stamp, which is nothing.
Yeah,
I think it's $28 or something. I can't remember. I have to look it up. And then the migratory bird thing is. If you take it online, it takes you like 2 minutes. And all it is just a way for them to get another $8 or whatever it costs to process it. It's all about money.
Yeah, it is. But they use it in they cloak it with it's for control. So don't get out of control. Whether that's true or not, I'm going to remain Switzerland on that, Well, let somebody else who knows more about it argue that point. I've always just been like, I don't hunt, so I don't care about the rules.
I'm not a big bird hunter. Deer, I'll tell you some deer regulations, but it's because I hunt deer.
And again, I'll say it again, I have nothing against hunting. I just don't do it because it's too early in the morning, and I'd rather pet the animals than shoot them. That's just the way I am.
Well, the only way you're going to pet a deer is if you shoot it. Most of them don't walk up to you.
Right.
There's plenty of farm-type places, petting zoos that have deer.
Yeah, exactly. Noah's Lost Ark.
We're not talking
Yeah,
about farms. We're talking about out in the wild.
He was talking about farms.
You know, yeah, but we're talking about deer, and I don't care if it's a wild deer or a domestic deer. It's still a deer, and I and then,
and
you
then
know,
when it goes roar and jams
Yeah.
a horn in your neck.
either that
be
or
like,
either it kicks me in the face with its hoof.
Well, there was a
I could take
tree
a deer.
farm, Christmas tree farm down in Strasburg area that they used to have a couple reindeer that everybody could go and pet and stuff.
Got to get the address.
I
I don't know if they still
have.
have the reindeer. The farm's still there, but I don't know if the reindeer are.
That's all right. Noah's Lost Ark, my favorite animal of all time, died of old age. They had a camel that I just dearly loved.
Yeah, I don't think the reindeer they're not domestic enough to pet. They have donkeys and little
Oh, the
ponies
donkey's
you
great.
can pet.
Yeah. Now there was a place down in like Walnut Creek where you could drive through, and it was like a zoo where you could feed animals.
Been there, yes.
Dude, they had a giraffe
That's
that would
that-
stick its head in your car. You could play
Cool.
with it.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
What was the name of that place?
Hirschberger or something.
Market or something. They had
Yeah.
every store, bakery.
Had
everything.
past tense?
No. Well, but I just
Yeah.
said that because
It's just like a big park.
When
drive-
you were there, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the past tense. Okay.
You drive through with a bucket of food, and you're supposed to hold the bucket of food out in the window, but you don't get a chance to because they usually
Honestly,
stick their
though,
face in and
riding
start
in
eating.
in their buggy thing that they
Yeah.
take is better than driving in your car.
Really?
We did that because we used to always just drive, and with the one year we were like, oh, what the heck, we'll just ride the wagon. So much fun because one, you can pay more attention.
Right.
They stop at multiple. I mean, when you go through that gate, all those animals know exactly
Food
what you're
coming.
there for, and
Food
they
coming.
come running.
Well, the zebras
And they
didn't come
follow
anywhere
you
near
the
us.
whole time. Well, no, they're all fenced in,
Yeah.
but you can still feed them. But yeah, going on the wagon ride is so much better than in the car. I'll never do the car again.
See the way
Well,
you're
there.
the way you're talking, we're gonna have to get these two to Noah's Lost Ark. I'm not saying it's the best. It's just what we know, and I love the place.
That's why I said I was there a year. I mean, it's been a long
Yeah.
time.
I absolutely adore that place.
We could go to the wilds.
See, I don't know anything
I
about
have
that.
always wanted to go there.
Really, I
I've
took
never
my
been
sister
there yet.
for her birthday. And
Now, do you have to
ride-
drive through it?
No, you go on their tour bus.
So that could be a bike
You
trip.
do not ride through. Well, yeah,
Where's that one at?
down by Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the Columbus park system, but it's the wilds. There's rhinoceroses and everything.
You can actually rent a yurt and stay there.
Yes.
A what?
Yurt,
Like a tent
a
type
fancy
thing.
tent.
You can.
We'll just call it
you
a
can
tent.
Camp overnight.
But it's not really a tent because there's electricity and refrigerators and stuff like that.
Okay, so it's a permanent tent.
Not that I would want to.
You know what worries me about that is this is still Ohio. We get some damn serious storms in this state.
Kind of like when you guys tried to go to the motorcycle thing.
Oh yeah, when God, I was just done when that thing happened. I'm like, we're packing up, we're leaving. I knew the race wasn't going to happen anyways. I mean, I don't know why they thought racing in October was possible. It just isn't.
Well, they're from California. They don't think about shit like that.
Most of them, yeah, most of them are from like Miguel Duhamel was from Canada, and Matt Mladen was from Australia. God, I mean, the Boston brothers, they were from California. And then you got the Haydens who were from Kentucky, so they knew. And then, who am I missing? There's the other two brothers who were from Australia.
That was too long ago.
I know, it was such a long time ago.
I
Jake
don't follow
Zemke.
it,
Jake
so-
Zemke is from California.
Uh-oh.
I think he's still racing, actually.
Dog on the move.
Yeah. Then Ben Spees was there that weekend. He was from Texas, along with Colin Edwards was also from Texas. Anyways, but getting back on. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I've been looking into this, and from what I've gathered, there was a 911 call with someone claiming that Haitians are
Killing geese.
killing geese. Now, as far as the cat and dog, I have not seen a single
I
thing
haven't either.
saying that is real. It seems to be a complete lie. It's just a lie.
Now, what about the ones where they're saying that the immigrant gangs in Colorado are taking over apartment buildings?
I don't know anything about that. I do know that I have read enough that I believe that the Hells Angels going there to take it back is complete bullshit.
I don't know about that. I just read there were several different articles I read about that.
Yeah.
But
Well, I do know that they've let all these people in, and we don't know anything about their background.
right.
You would think that someone would remember the 30s and the Italian gangs,
Well,
the
you-
mobsters. I mean,
Well-
that is real history. That happened. Enough Italian people came in here. They formed gangs, and a lot
Took
of people
over New York City.
a lot of people in a lot of different places. Here in Ohio, we had issues. They had issues in Pennsylvania,
Youngstown, yeah.
and they did a lot of damage. A lot of people died. I don't know how long it went on though.
I mean, they killed mostly each other, the rivals between each other. They didn't just go around killing innocent people, but still, it was just a bunch of craziness.
Yeah, Chicago was a huge one. Obviously, what's that one?
Al Capone and all them guys.
No, I was
Chicago.
the day, like the Thanksgiving
St.
Oh,
Valentine's.
that was
St. Valentine's Massacre.
That was Al Capone.
Huh?
That was Al Capone.
Okay. Anyways, so I mean, we think, do they really pretend like that can't happen again? I mean, back in the 1800s, it was the Irish was fighting with the
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody. It was just a big fucking mess. So I think a little bit more due diligence is necessary.
But you should be happy that happened, or I might not be here.
No, I'm just saying it's that's history. That's real.
It is.
That actually happened, and I think we should keep that in mind when we're just open the borders and let people fly in here. And another thing is, you can't lie about the spike in crime, New York.
Oh yeah.
And I from what I understand, there's been a huge spike in crime in Springfield since the migrants came in.
Oh,
Now,
really? No, and I didn't. I do know that all the places that have banned firearms from their public people are having horrible crime issues.
yeah,
Horrible. Like, I guess certain parts of New York where you're not allowed to conceal carry or own
Or
firearm,
Chicago.
and Chicago both are just
and
having
San Francisco.
just terrible time with
Actually,
people.
California as a whole.
Yeah, that's
I know.
sooner or later that place is going to fall in the ocean and it'll be great.
Yeah.
Kersploosh.
Now, I know that some people we're going to catch a little bit of hell because we're bashing Trump here, but here's the thing. I don't care which one we're talking about. I want truth.
Well, there you go.
That's
And
all I
just
care
it.
about. Now, I know Harrison lied, and I know Trump lied, so it's up to us to kind of figure out what they're talking about, and that's what I think is terrible. I think both of them should be reprimanded in some way, shape, or form for
Who's going to
saying
reprimand
shit.
them? Everybody that's got the money that's paying them are the ones that's going to, they don't give a shit.
I
They
know.
just want their person to win.
Well,
that's why you need to get all that money out of politics.
That's the difference between what I want and reality.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what I want is I think they should be called out for it.
Well,
Just like Como. Como was called out, 4 years later. He was on a TV show being interviewed, and he was still saying that ivermectin was terrible, blah, blah, blah. And then, he said that on CNN, making fun of Joe Rogan for taking ivermectin, right? Said,
Right.
that's horse dewormer. And then finally, 4 years later, he got it shoved in his face when he was
Right.
on a TV show,
That it
denying
works.
that he ever said that. And the show put up the goddamn video
of him saying it.
of saying it, and then he just sat there trying to, come up with something, and that was like, thank you. Not that I'm always on Rogan's side, but he was right in this instance.
Well, the thing with Joe is, like, everything he does, he researches the shit out of it. Like, he don't just read something and say it. He checks out everything he
Right,
talks
or
about.
he has a guest that knows what he's talking
Right.
about. Like, one thing Rogan said that just really resonated with me, he had JFK on, not JFK, JFK,
Junior?
yeah, well, it's not JFK, it's RFK
Yeah.
Jr. And RFK Jr. did a lot of research in vaccines in general, and then the COVID vaccine.
Right.
And then he wrote a book about it. Now, I haven't read the book, but he named names, threw Fauci completely under the bus. And I've never liked Fauci because I remember how bad Fauci botched up the AIDS pandemic in the 80s.
Well,
I mean,
he
he
didn't
got-
do very much better with the COVID thing.
Yeah, he didn't do so hot, and he got sued by a bunch of doctors because of bad decisions he made back then.
Right.
So as soon as his name popped up, it took me a minute to remember where I knew that name, and I'm like, oh shit. So, and RDK Jr.
RFK Jr.
Thank you. Just tore him to pieces. Said that he sent all this paperwork. I need to know this, and Fauci waited and did nothing, and then finally, blah blah blah. And he wrote about it, and Rogan said, you know how I know RFK's book was legit and truth? Because nobody sued him. And that made sense. If he would have said something that was out of place or
Right.
not true, Fauci would have sued the fuck out of him and had the book yanked off the shelves. But
Probably
nobody
true.
touched the book. And I'm like, there you go. There you go. Anyways, I didn't mean to digress. I'm just saying
That's right.
that I want truth. I want truth out of these guys.
Well,
Not
good luck.
sensationalism or theatrics. I want truth.
Blood from a stone, my friend.
Yeah.
Blood from a stone.
But Anyway, so
That's my hope. When everybody starts to arguing Trump and Harris, I'm like, look,
They both
suck. They both lie, and neither one of them it gives a flying frog's ass about any of us.
actually, I disagree. I think Trump cares more about the blue collar than the Democrats do, which is the only reason why I'm kind of leaning his direction, because I lived better when Trump was in office. I could afford fuel, I could afford food, and I had hope for the future. Now, I will say this. You absolutely have to keep religion and state separate. You have to.
Oh, absolutely.
And he doesn't want to do that, along with most Republicans, and that's my
Right.
biggest problem. You want to see me get nasty? Talk about prayer in public schools. Then you'll see me turn real nasty, because that is just evil. That is an evil concept.
Which it actually goes against the Constitution.
Exactly.
You have the freedom to choose.
Yes.
And they don't let you do that.
And I call it evil because every human being who's a Christian has free will. That's the whole point. So when you force your ideologies and your religions on other people, you're taking away free will.
Exactly.
And that goes against the Christian religion. So it's just like, you're evil. You're just so arrogant that you don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, so that's my
Let's
biggest
move on
problem.
from that.
I can't help it. That's what the Republicans want. They want to ban abortion, and they want to do this and do that. And I'm just like, no, we have doctors for a reason.
Well, see, my biggest problem with the Republican Party is all the people I'm supposed to dislike because it's not okay. And I don't want to dislike it. I don't give a shit what anybody else does. Why do I care if somebody's gay? Why do I care? I just don't care.
Yeah. The only problem I have with it is when they're trying to teach children to be gay.
Well,
That's also taking away their decision, because children are impressionable.
I'll give you that.
But other than that, I'm just, fuck it. You do you. I don't care.
Excuse me.
I'm boring him.
Long night.
I'm awake.
Actually, I'm tired because I didn't have a full monster today.
Oh.
Do you
That
want
should be a
hers?
red
I'll get it
flag.
for you.
No. I have started this intermittent fasting, so I don't eat or drink anything at certain times. I probably shouldn't even be drinking that, but I'm ready to fall over and go to sleep.
Welcome to my world. Here's something. So, most people think if you want to lose weight, you got to cut back your meals and you got to exercise, right?
That's what they say.
Okay, so with this new job, I'm running around twice as much as I was at Tractor.
Okay.
Okay, now I do drive, but I only drive for like maybe 9 minutes, and then I'm running around. And then I get back in the car and I drive for 9 minutes, and I'm running around. Okay, I also am eating. I have to be eating a third less food during the week, right? I mean, I get up and I have a cup of coffee with fake sugar. Then I go to work, and I go to work. I start at 7, so I get up and I drink that coffee from 5 to 5:30, 5:45. From there, I don't touch food until about 9 o'clock. And then I have something small, like I have a little cup of oatmeal, and it does have sugar in it, or I have the tuna fish salad packs, little crackers, and that's it. And then I'll snack every once in a great while, and I drink flavored water with fake sugar in it, and clear up until anywhere between 12:30 or 1 o'clock is when I go to lunch. Then I have a normal lunch. I don't eat 6 pieces of pizza. I have something small. And then I go and I have dinner at normal dinner time, right?
Right.
So you would think that's intermittent fasting.
Nope. Intermittent fasting is 10-14. You can eat for 10 hours and you don't eat or drink anything for 14 hours.
So what am I doing?
You're just eating regular instead of eating like a lunatic. But you should be losing weight doing that because you're eating less food.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't lost a fucking pound. After my surgery, I gained 40 pounds, and I'm only got 20 of it off.
Wow.
And the body refuses to get rid of the rest of it.
Well, this is only my fourth day, I think, of that. And I already screwed it up. So I don't know if one day a week will make it to where it just completely bombs the whole thing. I guess we could Google that. But I know on most other diets you get a cheat day every week. I don't know if you do that with intermittent fasting or not.
Yeah.
We'll look.
But anyways, it's just so frustrating because I know I'm eating less food.
Yeah.
And I'm eating at normal times now. I have a breakfast a few hours after I get up. I eat a lunch a couple hours after that. And then I go a few hours till I have a normal dinner. Well, sometimes my dinners are a little huge. depending on what we're having. Not like I'm eating an ice cream sundae every night.
No, you just need to cut everything back. And when I lose weight, I am hungry all the time.
Yeah, but see, the hunger isn't a problem. It's the crashing. Like, I need to eat to keep my energy up, or I'm useless.
Right.
I mean, Patrick can attest to how many times. I think I worked a tractor for a year, and I went home 3 times because of my sugar.
Just couldn't, yeah.
They were like, you need to go home. We don't want you on a forklift. Because I'm like, eyes crossed, drooling. Yeah, that's a problem for me. I have to keep something going. I don't know. I just think it sucks. I don't like being 300. I want to go back down to 280.
I'd be happy if I could hit 220.
That'd be great. I used to be 220 way back in the day. And I thought I was fat then.
I'm still fat.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's hard not to be fat.
It's hard to not be fat because I just love food. In fact, as soon as we get done with this, I'm going to eat something. Because I haven't had food since what time we ate dinner last night.
Well, if that's
6,
the pit
7
stop you're
months.
talking about, that's fine with me because I haven't eaten this morning either.
There you go.
Excuse me.
Where are
Sorry.
we going?
I don't know. We can go wherever we want. You're going to Canal Fulton, right? There's all kinds of stuff along the way.
Well, the backside of Canal Fulton.
Well, yep, still.
Doesn't matter.
So we go downtown Massillon if you want to do 21. That's Rockneys, and I think that's the only place.
BW3s.
Well, we don't like BW3s.
I don't know. We'll find
You
someplace
could
to.
find something to eat there.
I'm sure.
What don't you like about BW3s?
She doesn't like BW3s.
Oh.
I just think wings are too much work. You get a pile of wings and you get mostly bones. It's just not much of a meal.
Oh, I just love wings, and it's Sunday. That's my other thing too. Like, other than when we record on Sundays or do something, Sundays is I chill at home and eat wings and watch football, and I do the man thing. But
God, I wish I loved football.
well, I don't know if I would say I love football. I just enjoy watching football.
Yeah, see, I don't. That's
Especially-
why
well,
I was born in the wrong goddamn state. I should have been born in, like, California where I could... Well, no, that would be awful. But someplace where you could surf or do something...
I would love to see you on a surfboard.
Well, now, yes. I would have started when I was a kid, like most Californians or something. But I tried playing baseball when I was a kid. I was the kid standing out in the outfield chewing on my glove. That was me. Just, and then I watched the ball go over my head, and everyone freak out. I'm like, how am I supposed to get it clear up there? I just sucked at it.
I don't know. I've been a Steelers fan since I could crawl, and that's what I watch.
Never really played football. Just too much.
Now, damn it, you watched me turn that off.
You have so much phone issues.
You watched me turn the sound off.
No, I didn't. I didn't see shit. I saw you playing with your phone.
Let me check here.
You could have been checking Pornhub for all I knew.
No, I have the computer for that.
Well, that's true.
That's good.
But anyways, just we're gonna wrap this topic up. But yeah, so far there hasn't been any claims, not police claims or police reports of someone eating their dog. It just hasn't happened. Now again, if I'm wrong, cool. Let me know.
Yeah,
I want to be educated.
I would like to see some like actual footage of
Not
these-
footage, just a 911 call. Other than the guy
Anything.
saying that some dude ate geese,
Well,
because that's all there is. Now, and I also want to say he's not like completely off base. Well, yeah, he is completely off basis. But it is true that the 15,000 migrants that showed up in Springfield has really disrupted stuff. They're completely overrun in their schools,
Yeah.
and they're completely overrun in healthcare, just like stat cares and hospitals. They're completely overrun in housing. It's caused a huge problem. It's just no one's eaten any pets. And I don't think there's, like, I know DeWine went on an interview basically saying no one's eaten any pets, but we do need money. You know, if you're going to dump, this was summed up. He said, if you're going to dump 15,000 people into our state, which of course he said that he wasn't against. He said we have always kind of had an open policy with, you know, migrants and
Right.
then coming in. We want to grow as a state. Blah blah blah.
well, how big is Springfield? 15,000 people in Springfield probably cost a hell of a ruckus.
Yes, because the average was 58,000 people in Springfield. That's
Yeah.
it. There was 58,000 people, and then they added 15.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. That's like Sugar Creek. I mean, how many people are in Sugar Creek? Or I know there's a lot more in Alliance. But the point is that he's asking if you're going to dump these people here, then give us some resources, give us some money. And of course, they can't do that because they're giving all the money to Ukraine.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother issue.
Yes. But anyways, so it's just going to wrap that up. So yeah, it looks like that was BS. Now, what I'm afraid of is it's going to start happening. Like with the example of that bullshit story about people putting razor blades in the apples. Okay, the story happened first, then it started happening in reality, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid now someone is going to, I want to make this story true and make Trump a hero, and he's going to go and he's going to, fucking eat a cat or something.
Well, it's just like the whole thing when inspect your kid's Halloween candy. What if people put edibles in there? Let me tell you something. Every pothead in the world is not going to give up an edible to mess with your kid. He's going to eat it and laugh at your kid's costume.
And not only that, but most people buy store-bought candy nowadays. You know what I mean? Like Twizzlers and stuff like that. I don't know. I always thought it was I think it was more just paranoia than anything else.
I think it is.
But I do know that has happened a couple of times that they have found razor blades and apples and stuff like that. But the story came first.
Yeah.
The bullshit.
Well, back when my kids were young, we used to live in Bolivar, so we would go trick-or-treating in Bolivar. He was the funeral home director. Everybody in town knew him. He was a great guy. He always gave out big apples. And in all honesty, that's where all the kids wanted to go. They wanted to get a ginormous apple, but people that didn't live in Bolivar were like, "You're letting your kids..." I was like, seriously? We know the guy personally.
Yeah.
He's a funeral home director. I don't think he's trying to get more business.
Not only that, but you know right where to go. When I was a kid, my mom would make up these little bags. It was kind of cool. You can't do it nowadays. But she would buy like Tootsie Rolls and little things, and she would put like a handful of it in a bag and then staple the bag shut. Nowadays, you just, reach in and grab a handful, which I think is hilarious because some kids, double hand that stuff, and other kids grab one piece, and you're just like, it's all good.
And that's the biggest problem I think we have right now is there's no discipline or anything that we teach our kids. It's just everybody's running amok.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. I also don't have a problem with the parents going out watching you as you're feeding their kids. I don't really have a problem with that. If you want to be safe, you want to be safe. What gets me is why do we still do it during the day?
Canal Fulton doesn't.
At night, yeah, and Alliance
on Halloween.
Yeah. See,
6 to 8 o'clock.
I also don't mind what day. If they want to do it on a weekend, that's fine with me. I just wish they would do it at night. I think it's so much cooler at night.
So we always did it at night when I was a kid.
Right, yeah, same here. We would get dressed up, and I would get so antsy and waiting for that sun to drop because I didn't care about time, and then we'd be out there. Even in big cities, I don't get it. If you're going to be walking with your kid anyways, what, you don't have a flashlight? I mean, I don't get it. And while we're trick-or-treating in this neighborhood, I always see a police officer at least once driving around. I mean, I understand in something like New York, it might be a problem. But how many kids trick-or-treat in Manhattan?
Oh, probably a lot. They probably
Really?
go through all the buildings. Yeah, they probably go through all those apartment buildings, up and down and around. I bet they do.
But where would they come from? They wouldn't have to take the subway
Some
or
of
the
them
bus?
probably live there. Some probably live across town. I mean, I'm sure that people do it.
I don't know. I mean, I can't say you're wrong. I just don't see a lot of trick-or-treating.
Or I wonder if someone, like a lot of those big apartment buildings have I don't know,
their own
banquet rooms and stuff. They
I was
might
gonna
just
say,
have everybody go down there and set up, and you would just walk through there. And
that's
get
a whole
stuff.
neighborhood in a building.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They might do that. They might just set up in the banquet room, and all the kids will walk through and get their stuff. And
I just hate where the trend is going. This whole trunk or treat stuff. I'm not saying get rid of it because it's just one more thing, but I don't like the people who say that's safer. It's not safer. It just isn't. It's
I
a
was
lot
really
less
excited when we moved to Canal Fulton last summer and found out that trick or treat was on Halloween night.
Right.
And we lived back in an allotment, and it was insane. It was so cool because all the houses, some of the houses were really decorated.
Right.
Which we're gradually getting there. I got a fog machine and strobe lights and
it's
all
turning
that.
into
Ohio.
Christmas.
Yes.
in Ohio, in the middle of the rain.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was freezing last year. It was
Yeah, it was.
It's turning into Christmas. You know how I bitch about all the Christmas decorations she's got? It's slowly turning into
Well, my
Christmas.
girls are Halloween people. But yeah, we set up and we had probably at least 200 kids in our back in our allotment. I mean, like groups of kids and families and this and that. And then parents were riding up and down the streets in their golf carts or walking. And it was cool because, like I said, it was a social event for the parents.
Right.
They're all, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Of course, I had to have hot chocolate with some Fireball.
Booze.
Sure.
For any of the adults
Sure.
that wanted some.
Right.
They're like, I like this house. We're coming back there next
Right,
year.
right. No, I get it. No, we have a lot more kids in this house than we did when we lived in our apartment. But still, it ain't no 500. We'd be lucky to get 100. But I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect last
Yeah.
year. So, I mean, because I had hugs, I had candy, I don't remember what all I had. Bags of chips, stuff like that. So now I know how much stuff to buy.
Yeah, and she should have started buying it in July.
Well, it's funny. The next thing we need to talk about kind of has to do with that.
Oh,
But I enjoy talking about Halloween, so we're going to talk a little bit more about
we're
that.
going to talk about it.
But anyways, no,
What's happening Halloween?
yeah. Well, the zombie walk is on the 5th, October
Yes.
5th. We're going to be there, and I would love for you guys to come out. If you think we're stupid, come out and tell us. We won't yell at you. I'm cool. Just tell me why. Maybe I'll get better. Maybe you'll educate me. Or maybe I'll just laugh. I don't know. But come out and talk to us. I'd love to see you out there. Plus, it's a really cool event, and I want to see if this roguing place actually does a good job, or if they botch it as well.
See, then I also have a suggestion. If you're going to come and tell Mark he's stupid, bring a couple bucks to buy some cookies so you can stay, nice and
Wouldn't that be great?
fed and have energy
You're stupid.
to tell Mark he's an idiot.
Where's candy?
I know a lady be selling cookies pretty close by.
She's gearing up. She's buying all the stuff.
We were trying out new recipes yesterday.
Oh, you should have seen this. Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
He
So she
did it.
made purple cookies.
Uh-huh.
They were really good. And then she made green icing. And she's icing by hand and sprinkling sprinkles on it. And I looked at it and I said, what if there's like a cleaner way to do it? Cleaner, not like mess, but like how the cookie looks. Because it has that homemade look, and that's okay. But I saw this video on Instagram. This woman took parchment paper, and she piped a little blob of icing, and then she put the cookie down on that. Cooled it, and then when you peeled it off, it was like a perfect disc of icing, and it looked really nice. So I told her, I said, let's try that. It'll be so much better. So I put sprinkles down on the parchment paper, put a glob of icing on it, smashed a cookie on it. And I'm
Did
thinking,
not pipe it because he didn't want to get all the piping stuff out, so he just literally a blob off the spatula.
but I don't think it would have, even if I piped it, I don't think it would have been any better. And then we cooled it, and when I peeled the cookie off, there was icing and a few sprinkles mashed in and sticking out all over the place, and it looked like holy hell. And I'm like, okay.
It looked like somebody stepped on
Yeah,
him.
I said, let's call them stepped-on cookies. So that was kind of funny. And we have some, too. We can show them.
Oh, yeah, they're...
We'll call them
Up for
stepped-on
grabs,
cookies. You want some?
yeah.
They were actually very delicious cookies.
Yeah.
Are they sugar cookies? Or are they?
No, it's a...
Like a brick house cookie.
Grandma's sour cream cookie recipe. I make them at Christmas because they come out almost like a white cake, almost like a half a whoopie pie. But the sour cream in them you don't taste, but it makes it real moist and melt in your mouth. So it's like a little cake, and then at Christmas I do red and green blobs of icing. So
Red
now I
and
made
green blobs.
Purple.
Yeah, the sprinkles
and
is where I
green.
went wrong. It just kind of looked really bad.
Well, the ones you did without sprinkles were not any better.
I
Yeah,
think
but
what
I
she's
think
saying is
maybe
you're
if
off.
it- maybe
You're
if you-
off the cookie
that-
duty.
That stuff on
We had to try
Instagram
it.
never works right. I follow somebody on Facebook, and she's putting all these 100 recipes, and I'm like, there is no way that she makes them at home, and they come out looking like
Yeah.
a machine made them.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you that.
I do like the stepped-on cookie sound. I think that's what.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it Christmas cookies the girl made last year, and she was selling them in the one lot in Canal Fulton? Everybody freaked out because they got there like 8 hours after she started, and they were mad because she was sold out.
Oh, they
What?
did that. No, well, that also happened at Curdunk Cookies.
It's a good problem to
who I
have.
follow
Yeah, I think
on
that's who it
Facebook.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had set up at the Perry Grange because they're actually...
It was probably the same lady.
Yes, I bought cookies from them a couple years ago, right when I was getting my knee replaced and I couldn't bake. They're right around the corner from my house, actually.
Are they?
But at Christmas time, you can pre-order, And I usually do it the day they start taking pre-orders because they book up.
Right.
And it's mostly, I got their cutout cookies because they decorate them real pretty. I don't decorate, so I don't do cutout cookies. But last year, what they do when they have the orders, like all the major holidays and Mother's Day, then when you go pick them up, they have a pop-up sale where they just have so many.
Yeah,
well,
and
they
that's what
did
it
that
was.
at Christmas time the past 2 years at the Perry Grange down towards
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you guys go to work. And yes, that lady got there so early, and there were so many people there early.
Right.
They opened a little bit early because, to
That's
get...
what it was, yeah.
Anyway, so they opened a little bit early, and they sold out of their cutout cookies. And yeah, somebody on Facebook just
Dude, they
went
were
ballistic.
No, it wasn't just one person. It was a lot of
Yeah.
people going off on this poor lady, and she's like, "What do you want
I
me to
know,
do?"
and it's
Well, let's be
think-
honest. If you're a business owner, that's a good problem to have.
Well, yeah, but some of the stuff these people were saying,
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's a...
entitlement and
Yes.
childish behavior put together
I mean, they
creates
had-
social media.
where were those people when they had a store? They
Yeah,
had a
that's-
store
that's
over
a
in
good
Perry,
point.
and I don't know if the rent was too high or the
"Oh, I'm sure it
business
was."
low, so they didn't have it. But they kept the little business, and like I said, they do it like Halloween, Christmas, 4th of July, Mother's Day. I don't know about Father's Day, but you order whatever you want. They make a bunch of different cookies and some breads.
Yeah,
And then they'll have a little pop-up store too, but
yeah. I don't
You
know if
know,
it,
it's
I
like-
can't remember if
it's-
I thought it was Canal Fulton, where she
No,
was
it was
selling.
Perry. It's
Was
the
it?
same-
It was
same situation.
Okay.
it's like two women. I mean, how
Yeah.
many cookies do you expect them to bake?
Well,
Right.
dude, they made they said what they actually wrote down in one Facebook post how many cookies they took. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, because they had a contest one time. They asked, the contest was how many cookies do you think we sold at the pop-up thing? And I went by dozen,
million.
and I put like 100 and some dozen, and I wasn't even close to how many they sold.
What I can't remember what she said. It was like 485 dozen cookies or something they took there,
Damn.
and that was
And-
that was just what they did. Like she said at the pop up. That doesn't. That's not anything that they make for people that
Right.
order any of that shit.
And you're telling me they can't afford a store?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah, but they're doing that 2 or 3 times a year. They're not doing that every day
Oh, well.
or once a week.
Yeah.
If I
don't
had-
know.
And that's
They-
probably why the businesses increase because
Yes.
it's limited time.
Absolutely. Same thing with the guy that does the jerky that I know. He only releases it. Well, now he's probably doing 6 times a year. But it's the same thing. Like, it sells out all the time. Like, he started out buying, 3 or 4 skids of it. Now he's buying, like 3 truckloads of it, and it lasts
Well, but that's
a
what he's
week.
hoping that they don't keep selling out,
Yeah.
so they have more storage space now.
Yeah.
So, but I see now he's up to buying, 2 or 3 truckloads at a time, and he still sells out in a week. Like, the first time he did, I can't remember how many bags of jerky, but he sold out in 7 minutes.
Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great?
Well, I know. That's
You just
what-
take a shit ton of cookies, and 7 minutes later, we're packing up and got the rest of our day.
Well, I know, but
Wouldn't that be great? What a
I
great
know, 'cause
problem to
I've-
have.
I've got a menu of what I want to take to the zombie walk, and then I'm like, well, is that enough? Is it too many?
No,
Is
there's
it
no way
not
you
enough?
can
No,
know.
yeah.
There's no way you
Just
can
roll
know.
those dice, because that's the only thing you're going to be able to do with that.
I mean, we went
And
to
I told
that.
you, if what doesn't sell at the zombie walk, we'll set up the very next weekend somewhere, anywhere, and get them sold before they, get old.
I know, because for that.
And don't forget,
craft
there's always
show-
internet orders. You can put on Facebook, got this, these are...
Yeah, there's
$1
couple
less.
people that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
I'm sure Angie will buy some.
well, I don't want her to have to buy all her leftovers.
Well, we're not forcing her. You just wave a cookie under her nose, and money comes shooting out of her ears. She loves cookies. Loves
Apparently.
them.
Well, since we're talking about food, I bought a new smoker.
Oh, yeah? Did you finally get that sorted out?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. We've found out that the weird taste that we're getting is because of the wood we were using.
Hmm.
We've changed the wood, and I think it's 1,000,000 times better.
Yeah, it's a lot. I was just telling her, we were at Drug Mart, of all places, and they had Kingsford apple and cherry. I'm like, well, I'm getting those. And then, of course, beside it was hickory and mesquite.
The mesquite is what was making the food taste terrible.
Yes, thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
It was
I told
horrible.
her, I said, Mystique tastes like shit. I said, I don't know who uses it or what food you're supposed to use it on. And then people, like everyone who doesn't know what they're doing, and I'm not saying I know what I'm doing, I just know this little bit. When you smoke beef or pork in hickory, it tastes like ham. That is the flavor. If you take away hickory, ham tastes like a pork chop. Okay? It is the hickory that makes ham taste like ham. So when you smoke ribs in hickory, you have ham.
I did cherry is what we've been using.
Yes.
And it works great.
Yes, you know what other one I really love?
Somebody says pecan's good, but I can't find any.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have pellets. I get the one I get now takes wood chips.
Okay.
Instead of you can put pellets in it, but it burns up really quick.
Yeah. Now, what I like, now don't forget, I don't smoke near to the degree you are. What I mean is, what I'm saying is, like, I'll use chips in just a grill.
Right.
And you do get a hint of the flavor. Nothing like what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I had a point, damn it.
We were talking about different kinds of wood.
And one of the things that I really think tastes good is they sell like Jack Daniel's ground up oak barrels.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
That actually has a pretty good flavor, especially with hamburgers.
I'll have to try that one.
Well, yeah, but I don't know what it's like when you really smoke something with it. It might be too strong. I don't know.
So tomorrow, I'm going to try and smoke an actual meatloaf.
Oh.
I bought like this thing you can set on like the grate. It's like a cooling rack, but you can put it in the oven. But if I make the meatloaf, I can set it in there so the smoke gets under it, and I'm going to try and smoke an entire meatloaf.
What are you going to do with all the grease?
There's a grease trap in the bottom of the smoker. That's
Okay.
what it's for.
Will it overflow? Because the meatloaf creates a lot of grease.
Nah.
Well, I'd love to try some.
Well, you might have to come tomorrow and try some. Everybody wants the meatloaf. Kayla wants meatloaf. Lauren wants meatloaf. Everybody at work wants the smoked meatloaf. And I'm like, look, man, I'm only making one friggin' meatloaf.
Yeah.
And if you get some, you get some. If not, sucks to be you.
Mm-hmm. Well, just tell them. Say, buy a smoker and make it.
Yeah.
What they mean to say is, please bring me dinner so I don't have to get off my lazy butt and do it.
Yeah. There is one girl that probably is basically saying that because she loves it when I give her food.
Of course.
She also passes out on your steps if you give her Jack Daniel's Fire.
Well, I'll remember not to do that. Who are we talking about?
I think she was gone by the time I get there. Kara.
It's going to ring 12 times.
Oh, my God. It is noon. Holy shnikes.
Okay.
Right.
That was
Moving
fun.
on.
Oh, it's 4 minutes late. Judas Priest.
Oh, look at that. It is.
That's the
Somebody
downside of having a cuckoo clock is you're constantly adjusting it.
But yeah, she came to the house one day she's doing laundry or something, and we found a bottle of Jack Fire, and the next thing I know, it's the next morning, and she's passed out on the steps.
I did that once, but it was inside.
No, she was inside.
Oh, okay.
Those steps right there. Our
Yep.
house is exactly like this one.
Okay. I did that. I had an apartment in Canton, and I was back when I was drinking like a dumbass. And I drove home completely trashed. And not only was I drunk, but I hadn't eaten. So it's kind of like a combination, low sugar, and the apartment was, you walked into like a family room downstairs, then you had a big set of steps, and then everything else was upstairs.
Yeah.
Everything. So I was taking off my clothes because the laundry room was downstairs. And I got half stripped down. I think my socks, my underwear, and a shirt was on, and that's it. And then I woke up the next morning on halfway up the steps. And I thought to myself, that's a red flag.
There was a little bar. I lived in North Industry, and there's a little bar there. And then one guy that used to go in there, like they called him Yard Man because he would get drunk, and he'd just go out and sleep in his truck. And then he would always wake up in the yard under his truck because he'd get up to pee and just...
Yeah.
And that was his nickname was Yard Man. That's what everybody called him because he'd be asleep in the yard outside of the bar.
Scott Bowers, the Scotsman. Look up the song. That's all I'm going to say.
Good old Yard Man.
Oh, God. Alcohol. What a mess that is.
Yeah, but they outlawed weed.
That's crazy. Of course, I don't know if weed is any better. Not really.
Oh, dude, I don't think it makes you half as stupid as alcohol does.
I'll have to take your word for it. Do you agree? Anybody?
She can't smoke weed.
Okay. Dinah?
What? I have no opinion.
Oh.
I grew up in the 80s when we drove better when we were drunk. So I don't really have an opinion on
Yeah.
smoking pot compared to drinking.
Okay.
Well, I know the only problem I got with the drunk driving laws is now, dude, you even smell a beer and you're fucking over a limit.
Well, yeah, they like everything else. They use it to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's a good thing because driving drunk is incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
But then you have the flip side where they go too far. And now you have an argument where something you shouldn't be an argument. It should just be common sense.
Right.
So once again, that's what I hate about speeding tickets. And when someone's doing 100 miles an hour on a 25, that's when you hope they get caught, but they never do.
Right.
They get caught when they're doing 7 miles an hour over 45 limit, and then it's just a money racket. So they use the premise that they're making you safe, but they're not, and nobody believes that they're doing anything other than just
it's
making
revenue.
money.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate it.
Like
Police are not taxmen. The police are there to keep the peace and make it safe.
Say it every single day. There's a difference between a cop and a pig.
Yes. And I don't always think it's the cop's fault. I think
No,
they're
I think
told to do that.
No, they're not. That's not it. They're not. There's no quotas. They're not allowed to have quotas. But at the same time, if you want to make rank and you want to move up and you want to get your promotions, you better be writing tickets.
Yeah. I agree. I believe that wholeheartedly. I mean, there was a time in the 90s, I don't know now. Chris might be able to answer this. But there was a time in the 90s when you couldn't go 5 miles over the speed limit in Canal Fulton. They would get you.
You still
for
can't.
You still can't?
No, dude, they're terrible.
Yeah.
It might be better now.
I mean, I don't know. I don't ever see anybody pulled over, but I know
Are you
there's a
nuts? I see
variety
more
of
people pulled over in Canal
speeds
Fulton
on one street.
Yeah. Did you know that? When
What?
you go in and out of Canal Fulton, when you're going through town, like if you go through like where the McDonald's and everything is, you start to go up the hill towards downtown.
Yeah.
If you're going towards Belton Village, it's 35, and if you're going into town, it's 25.
Really?
When
There's
you
two
leave-
different speed limits?
Yes. When you leave
I
town
never
going out to
noticed
her
that.
house, when you pass like where the Save-A-Lot used to be and the Dollar General and all that, it's 35 on one side of the street.
So they want you to
25 on the
They
other.
want you to get the fuck out of town, and they don't want you in town. Or at least you're getting in town slower.
So I looked up to see if that was illegal, and the only thing that it says is it's legal to have it that way on a divided highway, but there's no regulation anywhere that I could find that says about an actual 2-lane road whether that was legal.
Wow. I never paid attention.
We'll show you today. When we ride out that way, we can go through there, and I'll show you. Because she didn't believe me either until the one way we were going, and I said, it says 35, right? And then we were going back. I think we were going home from the Giant Eagle or something. And I said, look at the sign behind you. What does it say? She said, holy shit, that says 25. And I'm like, exactly.
That's so strange. I wonder if that's a speed trap. Is
Yes.
that some,
It's on speedtrap.com that it's like that.
Wow. And Canal Fulton's a nice little town. Town full of drunks, but it's a nice little town. I used to know the guy who owned a canal boat back in the day. I don't know if he still owns it. Hal still own it? Do you know anything about it? Okay. Well, I assumed that back in the 90s when I was in town a lot. I mean, yeah, I worked for the repo company there for a while, but when I was in the town a lot, everyone knew everyone. Like literally everybody knew everybody. And that's how I met Hal, was through the friend that lived there. And then years passed, and I went back to work at Canal Fulton at Skipco, and for some reason I don't know, it was just where I went to go to work. I never really paid much attention to the town after that. But I do have history there.
Is that good or bad?
Oh, I don't know. I never had bad history there. I was just there almost every weekend. Even if we were going to Cleveland to the Flats, I would go there first, and then they would drive me. And yeah,
Okay.
a lot of parties on Arcadia. No, it wasn't actually Arcadia. It's that road that goes off of Arcadia, right next to 21, and it loops around.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of that
I
road.
can't remember what it is either.
But at any rate, that road saved my ass. Arcadia. I worked in Akron, and I had my Ford Edge, and I have issues with people who tailgate me. I just can't stand that. And I was coming home, and when you get on to 21 from 77, and you kind of merge with a bunch of people.
Yep.
And I ended up in the fast lane, but I got kind of stuck there. Now, I was typically going 10 miles an hour faster than speed limit, so I was kind of going faster, but you get stuck there. You get side by side, a lot of traffic. And this fucking GMC, of course it was a GMC, got up behind me, and he was so close, and I just wasn't in the mood that morning, so I hit my windshield wiper fluid and drenched him. And then he was stuck behind me for, I don't know, 30 seconds, but he managed to get over, and then he got in front of me, or beside me, and then cut me off, and then did the same thing. And I was like, okay, game on. So then I kind of raced him. But what I didn't realize then was he also had a bad day, and he wanted to kill someone. So we went at it the entire way. We're talking from 77 all the way down to Arcadia. And by the we're talking 100, a Ford Edge and a GMC Terrain. So we're talking 100, 110 maybe. Not because and we're just back and forth, and he's trying to cut me off, and I'm just having fun with it. Really, I'm not mad. I'm just like, you're not gonna beat me. And then by the time we got to Arcadia, I could tell that he was ready to just. If he had a gun, I'd be dead. It's that simple. He pulled over a couple of times, like I was gonna pull. I just drove past him, and then he had to come catch up again. So I thought, well, I'm getting home, and I don't want this jackass to follow me to my house. I gotta do something. And I never thought to take a picture of his license plate. That's fucking stupid. I should have did that. But I knew that I could get on Arcadia, hit that road that goes off the side, and then go to the other road. I can't think of the name of the roads. And it goes back to Arcadia and then come back up to like 93, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I knew I could do that loop because I knew that area. And I wish I knew the names of the roads, but I don't. So I got off 21 South on Arcadia, and I was just a little bit ahead of him. So I managed to cut in there, and I floored it down that street, down that neighborhood. And then I managed to make the right, and I made the right, and I floored it back up Arcadia. And when I drove past that road, I looked, and he was going super slow, looking down the neighborhood roads. And I'm like, fuck you. Got back on 21, went south, never seen him again.
I had a guy follow me.
But he was looking for me.
I had a guy follow me up 21 one time when I worked at Timke when I lived in Canal Fulton. Dude, I don't know what his problem was. I can't even remember what happened. But he followed me all the way home. And I pulled in the driveway, and he pulled up behind me. And when I jumped out with my Glock in my hand, he decided he didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I didn't have a gun.
But. Well, I've had a concealed carry permit long before they were famous in Ohio.
I should look into it. But quite frankly, I sold all my guns because they were worth money, and I didn't have any. I have nothing now.
I've got a couple. I went and looked at some yesterday, and I just didn't buy anything. I should have. They had a couple guns I like, but like I said, I just don't want to pay what that guy wanted for them.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to wrap this up because we got another one to do.
Yes.
So, all right. I appreciate you listening, and once again, drop us a line. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you later.
Bye.